Good evening, everybody. I'm going to be covering Chapter 7 of this book right here. It's about selfishness. And before I do, I'd like to say that I'm going to also be covering the 4 rules of data processing, and I would like for you to continue watching the video after I get this presentation done so you can see the 4 rules of data processing. But anyway, selfishness. You can be a selfless person and still look out for your own self-interest. Okay, I know there is a verse of the Bible that says that Jesus was talking about if somebody asks you for a piece of clothing, you can give them 2. He didn't say give them so many pieces of clothing that you end up being butt naked. That's different. Okay, God doesn't expect you to give your house away where you end up being homeless and the other person now has your house. He didn't expect you to hand the keys to your car to somebody else so you can end up saying to your boss, hey, I can't come into work today because somebody else has my car now. That's not what God was saying at all. Giving till it hurts doesn't mean giving to the point where there's nothing left of you. Okay? God doesn't want you starving to death. He doesn't want you butt naked. He doesn't want you without a house. What he's saying is don't hoard. There's a big difference. If you have the resources to give something like that, fine. But if you don't worry about it. Alright? Now, I have a friend of mine. We've been friends since way back in elementary school. She's married now. She has kids. She has grandkids. And we have shared some times together. We all kind of chipped in and we've gone places and done things. And that's because I like her company, I like her family's company, and she regards me kind of as a brother. And that's cool. We've been able to do some activities, a lot of times really dirt cheap activities. Shoot, a little bit of gas money and a little hot chocolate, and boy, you're all set. Okay, here we go. A little bit of gas money, some hot chocolate, and gingerbread cookies. That's it. And we all had a very good time. We went to do Festival Lights. There's been times where she's chipped in on food and I've chipped in on gas. We went out and we had a good time. We actually got to go to New Salem one year. We got to do a little shopping in Springfield, that kind of thing, and it all worked out great. We all had a mutually beneficial friendship. You can have mutually beneficial friendships and be selfless. Selfless means that you're not hoarding everything for yourself. You're sharing in the activity. As long as you're sharing, you're okay. Alright? So, selfishness will make you very, very lonely for years to come. And it can leave you very lonely at the end of your life. You do not want to be selfish. At a certain point, it will cost you dearly. But like I said, you can look out for your self-interest and still be selfless. Alright, now let's cover the 4 rules of data processing real quick. Let me tell you something. I am a data processor. I know that there's going to be a lot of people trying to cut me down for what I'm going to say next, but let me tell you something. Data processors take raw data and they turn it into something presentable to human people. You know, ordinary everyday people can then understand the data that they've been processing. Okay, we turn it on sometimes into pie charts or bar charts or line charts or anything like that. Now, what IT guys do, on the other hand, is they take your line charts, your pie charts, your bar charts, and they turn it into something pretty. Okay? So, we D-Pro people, we eat IT guys for breakfast. That's what we do. So, what are the 4 rules of data processing? Number 1, don't dump coke down a nuclear reactor. That's the very first rule. Why? Because you already have a bad situation, which is the nuclear reactor, and then you dump Coca-Cola down it. You just made a bad situation worse. Never, ever make a bad situation worse. Number 2, there is no team and I. Now, let me tell you something. You can be friends with data processors, But you got to watch your back, because some data processors, not all, but some of them, tend to look at your computer projects, and if they see that it could be profitable, they'll use it, they'll become profitable from that, and then they'll leave you in the garbage can. You don't want that. So you always have a little bit of an edge. Okay? That's where the self-interest comes in. You have a little bit of an edge, but then you become friends with them, and you share some ideas or whatever. But you always keep a little bit of an edge for yourself. Because if you don't, you're going to end up in the poorhouse real quick. Number three. Never wear a tie or loose jewelry while fixing a motherboard. Why? Because if the fibers from the tie or the loose jewelry lands on that board, you switch on that power, and let me tell you something, data processing motherboards run between $500 to $1,000. You turn on that switch, boom, that board is history. And you're out $500 to $1,000 instantly. So you really don't want to do that. Fourthly, always have a backup plan. Most people on the internet are really nice people. I've met a lot of nice people. But unfortunately, there are a few little buttheads on there. And these little buttheads, they like to go into computers, get computer hard drives, and they like to corrupt them and destroy everything. Okay? I'm sorry they're out there. I'm sorry they do that kind of stuff, but they do. It's sad, but they do. The thing is that a good data processor always backs up their data just in case they run into one of these little trolls. We're not out looking for these trolls. They just happen to stop by from time to time, and they can wreak havoc on your hard drive. Always have a backup plan. Alright? Now, some of these rules you can apply to real life. I would be very cautious about applying too many of them, because you could end up in a situation that could be far worse than what you are in right now if you start applying these rules. You just have to really think about that. Okay? Now, having said all of this, the best way to think about selflessness is this. I was selfless in giving you guys all the education that I have given you so far on YouTube. But I am being in my own self-interest by not teaching you guys XML, because I can actually make money off of XML. So I have taught you guys a bunch of stuff to give you better jobs. That's selfless, but I looked after my self-interest and said, there's no way I'm going to go and give you lessons in XML, because I can use that for my own profit. Okay. Besides, by the time you learn all the other things I've been teaching you, you probably could pick up XML pretty quickly on your own. So I'm not leaving you guys in the drink. I'm leaving you with a good paying job, but me having an edge. And that's okay. Alright, I will tell you more in a future video, so stay tuned.